Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important element of HTML, which is div. Okay, we all have heard about div. In fact, most of you already know about the div thing, but do we really know all the specs or all the scenarios where we can utilize this div? No, because there are many scenarios. As per the condition, we will try to figure out all those conditions where we can utilize div. In this session, we are just going to focus on the definition as well as the basic syntax or structure that we are supposed to follow in order to create a div. And we will just discuss what is div, why we need div, and how we can create div. Okay, but in the upcoming session, we will utilize the div for a particular scenarios. Okay, we will try to cover all possible scenarios that you might see in your projects, and we'll try to utilize div accordingly. Okay, so I think before we start the session, I just want to recommend you one thing. Like, if you have not watched the previously released session, then I request you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Okay, because for now we are just focusing on div part, but prior to that we have already discussed about the attributes, forms, tables, list, and many other basic HTML related things, right? So this session is in the continuation of the same, where we will focus on the div element of HTML. Okay, as usual, there is one question for all of you. The question is, why do we use ENC type attribute in HTML form? So for this question, please do share your answer in the comment section so that others can take a reference from it. In case if you don't know the answer, then it is completely fine. You can refer previous session, because there we have already discussed this thing in a proper manner, in a detailed manner. So it will clear all your doubt. And once it is clear, then you can share your answer in the comment section. Not in a detailed manner, just in a short answer. Okay, so it will not only help you to prepare for your interviews and exam, but it will also help others to learn from your expertise. Okay, and those who will provide consistent correct answer will be spotlighted in the upcoming sessions for sure. Okay, so yeah, I think now we are good to start with the session, and the topic is div in HTML. So here you can see we have a basic HTML code written over here, which is just showing one title in the head section and one heading, which is HTML by Sharmit. Clear? So let me show you the output of this. So it is looking like this: HTML by Sharmit. Now we will create a div and we'll discuss what is div. So before that, let's put one heading here. So I'll write heading div element in HTML. Okay, so this is the heading, H2 heading, and you can see it is coming like this. Now we are going to talk about div. Like, what is div? So I'll give you two definitions. One is the technical definition, and the second one is the simplest definition, or you can say the definition in terms of layman. Okay, so let's start with the basic definition. So if someone asks you in an interview what is div, so you can simply answer that div in HTML is a simple non-style container used to group related content together on a web page. It helps organize sections of content, making it easier to structure and manage layout without adding any specific meaning or appearance by itself. Okay, so in short, you can say that it is just a simple container which we can use in order to organize the correlated things or correlated elements. Okay, so I think now this definition is clear. Now I'll explain you the same thing but in a layman term. So just assume a scenario. We have one box. Okay, we have one big box, and in that big box we want to organize few things like correlated thing. Suppose we have 5 fields which is related to personal information. So what I can do, I can put all those 5 fields in that box so that everything correlated, because they all are related to personal information. So that means they are correlated with each other. So I just put everything in a div. Clear? and that div is known, that box is known as div or the div element. Clear? So this is how you can respond when someone asks you what is div. So you can just simply say div is a simplest box or a non-style container which we use in order to group related content together on a web page. Okay, I think definition wise we are okay. Now it's time to see how we can create the div, and that is really very simplest. Why? Because to create a div you just need one div tag. Okay, so let's write here div and enter. That's it. So after that, like, this is the element of div. Inside this you can put all those things which are correlated within each other. Okay, so for example, I want to create one button and one input field, and I assume that they are correlated with each other. So here I will write button. In button we can write a name, for example submit. Then we will write here type, which is also submit, although by default is also submit, but still I keep it in every session. Then you can add input field, and this input field would be named and typed as text. So right here text, name would be username. Then we have next thing which is placeholder, and it is also username. Okay, so we have set all these things. Now you can save it and you can refresh your code. So once I refresh my web browser, you will see input field is added, button is added. Okay, let me correct this submit first. Input field is added, button is added, but we are not able to see any div. So where it is? Yes, div is there, but it is not visible because, as I mentioned, it does not contain any appearance. Okay, or you can say it is a non-style container. That means there is no style. You will not be able to see it. But we have one way through which we can easily find out where the div resides. Okay, and that is CSS. Although we have not discussed CSS yet, but we will just use a bit of CSS so that we can easily figure out like where it is. So for that I will use style attribute here. Now I will put background color, and background color could be anything as per your requirement. For example, aqua. Don't worry, styling and CSS part we will also cover in the upcoming session, but for now we are just focusing on this one part, which is background color. Now you can save the code and refresh your browser. So once I refresh the browser, you can see this entire section is highlighted with aqua color. That means this is the div, or this is the container of div. Okay, now my question is, can we increase the height of this width, height of this div? Yes, we can. For that you just need to write here height, and in height I can write 100 pixels. Okay, now you can save the code and refresh it. So now you can see div has been expanded for 100 pixels. Okay, so this is how we do this. Now what about width? Because we have not specified width, but it is automatically taking the entire width. Yes, it is right. Div accommodate entire width or entire screen width. But if you want to specify anything here, so you can put here width, let's say 50%. So I just want to accommodate only 50% of width. So in that case, you will see div has been added with 100 pixel height and 50% width. Clear? So this is how we create the width div. Now another thing is, let me show you. Let's say we copy something outside the div. Same thing, okay, and refresh it. So now you can see this thing is coming outside of div, but this is coming inside of div because we kept it like in a way. So if I paste it here and save it and refresh it, so now you can see the things are getting organized, right? We have one input field, button, one more input field, one more button. Right now we are using button and input field, but you can use anything, radio button or any drop down or anything, right? It is not fixed that we have to use anything which you think that yes, these are the things that should be grouped together. So in that case we will utilize this div. Okay, and those which are outside of the thing, like don't get confused, like here if I paste the same thing again, so you will see that it is also organized. Yes, it is, but here we don't have control on it. but here we can control the things. I'll let you know in the upcoming session how we can control these things, how we can organize, or how we can make a proper layout, right? But for now we are just focusing on how we can create the div. Okay, so I think now it is clear. Now I'll quickly tell you what are the other benefits of using div, or use cases. So first use case is we can group related content together, which is correct. We can create layouts, that is also correct. I'll show you in the upcoming session. We can apply styles and effect. We just saw one example, right? We can apply background color with the style, right? Then we have adding interactive section. Yes, we can create an interactive section. We can use div for organizing the JavaScript element, and also for the reusable of page component. Okay, so in short, if I summarize this session, so you can say div is a container which we use to group multiple correlated things together, and it will help us to create a layout. Okay, right now we have only one div. We can create one more div here, one bigger div here. So as per the requirement, we can create or divide entire page into multiple divs, and then we can put everything in a detailed way. Clear? So I think now this topic is clear to all of you, and now I request you to please do share your knowledge in the comment section so that others can take a reference from it, and those who will provide the consistent correct answer will be spotlighted in the upcoming session for sure. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.